Hello, everyone. Welcome to It's Sybil. I am Sybil Wilkes, and welcome back, Mr. Huggy Lowdown.
I'm
How
back
are
in the
you?
building, Sybil.
You're
Coy, what's up,
back.
y'all? What's up?
Hey.
Y'all
You're
missed me?
back.
We did.
Well, I wouldn't have said welcome back if we didn't.
I just wanted to be missed. Sybil, I wasn't doing that last week. I just want y'all to say y'all missed me.
You know what? You make us work for your love. You really do. I'm really glad I'm not your woman.
Work for your love.
I'm
Sybil,
just
you sound
your
like you're singing a
co-host.
blues song.
I
Work
know.
for your love.
I know. Work on that one, okay?
Speaking of working, look at the working girl holding down multiple jobs. Coy Malone. What's up, Coy?
Ooh, yeah, holding it down. Ooh.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Huggy, where you been? What's going on?
I've been making sure I didn't end up in the Freaknik documentary. So
Okay.
God!
you were doing some cutting and dicing and
I was going back
splicing.
looking for old pictures and stuff. So I hope I wasn't at that one. You know.
Does this really have as many people upset, or is this just the hype over this thing?
No, there ain't no hype, Sybil.
It kind of does. That has been the buzz in Atlanta for the last few weeks. There's even been talks of a lawsuit that's coming out with people that don't want to be disclosed on this documentary. But I thought all documentaries get permission for the footage and the photos that they use.
You know, they ain't had no paperwork back then doing the
paperwork. That's what they signed in order to not be held in prison or go to jail. So no, I don't. I think it's a lot of hype, but and I think it's doing its job. But we shall see.
These freaks are mothers now, Sybil.
And heads of corporations and businesses and preachers. Yes,
they moved
doctors,
on
lawyers, everything.
Lawyers. Oh my.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out and who sues whom and who was zooming whom back in the day. Coy, how's work going? Your new job?
Everything's going pretty good.
You got a new job, Coy?
I did.
I need to do better with my life. Coy,
yeah.
You've been had about 15 jobs since we started this.
At least.
Congratulations, right? Coy. What you doing?
Thank you. Yes. So now I am a computer tech. Now, the same place where I was in the kitchen. Now I'm a computer tech at the Mercedes-Benz corporate headquarters. So I'm getting the hang of everything. Training is going very well. Just trying to make sure that I stay on point with everything in terms of just what makes a workplace great. Being on time.
Is that a problem?
Yeah, sometimes it is. Sometimes it is. I can admit it.
Really? Wow, you know that's kind of like a big part of.
That's a big part of the job, especially when you start. Yeah,
being there.
Yeah, I know.
I
mean, it's so bad, but
I don't think you need to be saying that starting a new job. You know, being on time is always.
Well, you want to have a good impression, set a good, a tone and impression for people when you're starting a new job.
Right. Yeah. No? Yeah, I am. I mean, I'm doing pretty good. I think within the last week has been a little. I would say like the last week has been a challenge for me. So I'm just getting back on track. That's all.
How long you been on this situation?
Now, about 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
I'm gonna pray for you. So let us move on to the What You Need to Know newsletter. This is our Monday through Friday newsletter. Keep it moving, Hug. Pray. Let us pray. This is our Monday through Friday newsletter in which we talk about issues that pertain to the African American community, and it's written for folks in the African American community to learn a little bit more about what's going on in our world. And this past week, last week, Coy had an interview with the attorney who was representing the family of LaShawn Thompson, a young man who was eaten to death by bed bugs and other insects at the Fulton County Jail. Coy, you have an update on this situation, which is it's a positive spin on the story in that a former NFL superstar is maintaining his stance as a social justice leader.
Yes, so we have a lot of developments that have happened since we broke the story last Monday. And one of the major developments in this case now is that NFL quarterback Colin Kaepernick has now lent his assistance to pay for an independent autopsy for the LaShawn Thompson, because the coroner's office, basically the medical examiner, Fulton County medical examiner, stated that his cause of death was undetermined and that there were no signs of trauma, but they did note the heavy bed bug infestation. So now this is going to give LaShawn Thompson's family a chance to see exactly what happened to him, cause of death, and this can also potentially help with a lawsuit should they decide to bring up a lawsuit against Fulton County, the sheriff, the persons that were in charge. And this could possibly help with criminal charges should Sheriff Patrick Labat, decide to file charges. There are other developments with Sheriff Patrick Labat as well, who asked several executive staff members at the jail to resign as of April 17th. The Fulton County Commissioners also approved the sheriff's request for over $5 million in funding for jail improvements and another $800,000 for a feasibility study for a new jail. And as of last week, civil rights attorney Benjamin Crump joined attorney Michael Harper as co-counsel to represent the Thompson family, and they both held a rally and press conference in front of the jail on April 20th.
Did you make it to the rally?
I didn't get a chance to make it to the rally. I wasn't able to get the time off. However, I am in contact with attorney Michael Harper, and I will continue doing so as the story continues to develop.
Just for people who know, he was arrested in it was June of 2022 on a misdemeanor charge. He had some mental health challenges. He's had been diagnosed with schizophrenia and was incarcerated at the Fulton County Jail and transferred to the psychiatric ward. And he died almost 3 months to the day that he was initially arrested and eaten alive by insects and bed bugs. And the condition of his body was such that we couldn't even print. I didn't want to have the picture printed in the newsletter, Huggy. It was so disturbing. The conditions were disturbing. The condition of his body, of the corpse, it was just awful. And they ought to be ashamed, and they ought to be put in prison for what they had done to this young man and allowed to happen.
Yeah, that is unheard of.
Yeah, it was just awful. But good on Colin Kaepernick. Apparently, this is not the first time he's doing this, and it's not the last. But I wasn't aware of the amount of money that it costs to have this second autopsy performed, and it's on the level of $7,000 to $10,000, which is a considerable amount of money. And hopefully he will keep up the good work there. And also the attorneys representing the Thompson family will also keep up their good work. Also in the What You Need to Know newsletter, it's Ministry Monday. And our friend Willie Mae McIver talks about peace. And the definition of the peace of God is Galatians 5:22-23. And I had to go back and look that up today. I'm sorry.
You had to look it up, Sybil?
I needed the peace of all understanding. And she does a really great job in the Ministry Mondays column, and I look forward to her work. And we appreciate Willie Mae joining us with that. And also, if you'll also check out our newsletter in our health update segment, today talks about fibroids. And if you're struggling with fibroids, learn about the issue that many Black women have, and often 2 to 3 times more than white women experiencing fibroids, as well as other things according to the symptoms and the signs. And that is thanks to our relationship with Black Health Matters. So thank you for that as well. One of the stories that I did in the newsletter, not only talking about general politics and the way of the political world in Washington, D.C., Huggy, your favorite, Kevin McCarthy, doing some slashing of the current budget, not coming up with a budget of his own for next year, but cutting things in order to achieve that level that they need to get to extend the debt crisis and to extend the debt limit in the United States. And so he has taken his pen to paper and proposed $4.5 trillion in spending cuts. And those spending cuts include not only Social Security, veterans benefits, the proposal to the executive order that the president had regarding student loans. He's cutting all of that out and providing tax giveaways for the wealthy. So taking things away from the middle and the lower class and giving these things to their rich and wealthy patrons. Those in the Republican Party, for a lot of them, they say that his plan would achieve the $4.5 trillion in cuts by imitating discretionary spending, retrieving unspent pandemic-related funds, and eliminating the Biden student loan forgiveness plan and cutting funds earmarked for the Internal Revenue Service. So no new people hired for IRS, and especially no forgiveness for student loans.
Here's a real horse, Sybil. Kevin McCucko.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens. They're going to vote on it this week. And if he gets the votes, it is unlikely, or at least most political observers believe that it's unlikely that this will pass this week. And a lot of moderate Republicans are not on Kevin McCarthy's side. And he already had a slim enough majority of 4 people. And if he can't get his supporters like Marjorie Taylor Greene
you saw him was begging for Sybil. He was damn near giving people lap dances to get those votes. You see?
Yeah, exactly. And so Marjorie Taylor Greene, Gates, and others are out there trying to pursue the vote so that he can get this budget, or not budget, but the debt limit passed. And he's not even talking about the budget, but this is the way that he's choosing, is to cut everything off, not to submit a budget, but to cut everything in our debt situation. So it's crazy. Another crazy situation. What is going on in the Sudan? The civil war. They may have a ceasefire, but for the most part, they got the U.S. embassy and diplomat personnel out of Khartoum. They had an operation that seemed a lot like Osama bin Laden, Huggy, back in the day when the Obama administration went in and got Osama bin Laden. It was a plan in which they traveled 1,000 miles almost into Khartoum with 3 Chinook helicopters, and they were able to pull out and to rescue members of the U.S. military. They shut down the embassy for a period of time. And they are looking at almost 100 people, including members of the diplomatic corps in the Sudan, as well as family members and pets.
Wow.
But there are still thousands of Americans who are trapped in Sudan.
Wow.
And trying to figure out a way. They said, well, don't get in a carpool. Don't get in one of those where you don't know anybody and you could end up being killed. Well,
right.
There are people now, they're just trying to figure out how to get out of the main
they're probably
town.
preying on people's vulnerability.
Yeah. But it's really, I mean, they have no electricity, no water, no running water, any of that kind of stuff. And they're trying to figure out how to get out of Khartoum in order to get to the countryside where it's not quite as violent and deadly. And we don't talk about, African nations enough, but Sudan is really rich, as a lot of African nations are, in gold, and they have other areas in which they are showing an abundance, and the Chinese as well as the Russians want to get in there. And the United States is now pulling out, so no telling what will happen or when they'll be able to go back and whether they will be able to keep this ceasefire going.
Yeah, it's going to be a free fall
in the civil war. Exactly. A free for all is right. Yeah. So take a look at that if you want some background information on what's going on in the Sudan. And as I said, we cover a number of different issues, not only politics and health, thanks to Black Health Matters, as well as social justice with Coy and politics with Cameron Riley, LGBTQ plus areas with Quinn Townsend Riley, and mental health and wellness with our friend Aprilette. That is a look at some of the things that we do cover, but also hopefully we'll get her in to talk about her wellness check on Black and Fit, her company. And that's our friend Cherie White. Will come on and talk about that. And speaking of Spelman women, that is the little known Black History fact. Is Stacey Abrams is a little known Black History fact today.
Jaguars
is the politician, the esteemed politician, and a woman who ran for governor of the state of Georgia twice and unsuccessful at both attempts. And also the HBCU corner, Texas Southern women's golf team won its second SWAC title, and that is awesome. Good on them. It's second consecutive. At the Refuge Golf Course in Flowood, Mississippi. Do you know where that is?
Yeah.
Where's Flowood?
That's way
south of Jackson.
It is outside of Jackson. Okay.
Right outside of Jackson.
This is the third overall title for the program, the second consecutive, and the first for head coach Willie Schenkel. So congratulations to Coach Schenkel and all the women of the Texas Southern women's golf team. That is awesome. That is really awesome.
So that was back-to-back, Sybil.
Yeah, that would be
back-to-back with that swag.
Come on now.
Back-to-back with that swag.
Come on with it. And also, Coy, you would like to give a birthday shout out? We had it in the newsletter.
Yeah, today is my mom's birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Mama.
Happy birthday, Mom.
Nice. All right. So let us now move on to what's really going on, and that's our question of the day. And this question came to me as a result of what happened to our friend Don Lemon today. Don tweeted that he had been let go by CNN. He had been fired. He announced that this morning after a number of mishaps and missteps that have happened during his time with the company, especially since he moved to the morning show. It was a lot of reality TV worthy comedy of errors for many of us who know Don or in the TV business. And leading up to this question, people were saying, in conversation, Don, you better not go and mess up that good job. Don't go and mess up that good job. Coy, don't go and mess up that good job. Huggy, don't go. Sybil, don't. You got a good thing. Don't go and mess up that good job. All of us have heard that or said that to somebody else, right?
That's old school. It's
real old school. So the question is, has someone said that to you, and what did you do, or did you have to say that to someone else? And was that what were the circumstances that surrounded that? We're asking our listeners and viewers to comment on that. You had a situation, and I don't know what we could have said to Don, because Don is one of those guys. He's been in this business longer than Coy. You've been alive, and so he knows this business. He knows it in his head. But also there was new management that came in. He was in a very comfortable position. He was, bringing in great numbers and at nighttime. And all of a sudden his boss quit because of what has happened. It's something in the water this year with TV executives. But his boss got caught up in a personal situation with a woman, not his wife. And so he quit. And they brought in someone else who used to be the executive producer for CBS Late Night Show. And Chris Lick is his name. And apparently he and Don just never clicked. And they were always butting heads. And so one of the things that he did was move Don to the morning time. And that didn't work. And then Don, got caught up saying a lot of things that he really shouldn't have said and caught. And here's the other part. A lot of the trade newspapers were waiting. They were lying in wait for him to mess up and to say and do something. And he didn't disappoint. And last week there was an article in Variety that really kind of laid everything out that they thought he did wrong. And so that was really the camel that broke the straw that broke the camel's back. So I have a relationship with Don because of he used to come on the Joyner Show and deliver commentary once or twice a week, and he had to stop doing it because he was working late at night and then he was getting up early in the morning to do the Joyner Show, and so he subsequently left that. But we stayed in touch, and I last saw him at Christmas time at the Vice President's Christmas party in Washington D.C. And yeah, it was like that. Yeah,
flex.
And he was like holding court, and you hello Don, how you doing? And you take pictures and all that kind of stuff. And I asked him how he was doing. He goes, yeah, just dealing with the man. And I was hopeful that things were going to work out. Unfortunately, as we all now know, he said today that he found out from his agent that he had been fired by CNN. CNN said, oh, whoa. We asked that you come in and talk to us if you wanted to talk about this, and you chose not to. And so there's always three sides to a story. There's his, and the truth. So somewhere in between all of there, we may or may not find out what happened. But Coy, have you ever been in a situation where you had a great job and people say, don't go around and mess up and lose that good job?
Oh yeah. That's happened with well, a couple of my jobs. That's happened, and I don't know if I.
She's playing the freeze game. Okay. That was real good. She's able to do that for a period of time. Okay. For those of you listening.
Don't do that shit at the Mercedes-Benz dealership. Don't do that.
Coy, you want to share with us anything, or you want to just
scared the hell out of us, girl? You just had a get out moment. Like the lady.
I know. Yeah, that did happen with actually at my job at TBS at the CNN Center. I worked there when Don Lemon was really getting his footing in at CNN, and I kind of feel for him a little bit because he has been through the roller coaster, the gambit, the everything. That has been thrown at him, and so to see that now he's no longer with CNN, it's I feel bad for him because
17
he really
years.
fought.
That's a long time in the business.
He fought for that position, right?
Yeah.
He fought for that position. They got to a point where they weren't really giving him airtime for a long time. So it kind of sucks. I hope another network picks him up. But anyway, yeah, that happened with my job at CNN. Everybody's like, don't go messing up that good job and this and that, and I took it upon myself to pretty much leave and follow my heart and go to where I felt I needed to be as a creative person. And I moved to New York. It didn't work out. I ended up coming back to Atlanta a couple of months later. It was a rough experience, but I don't regret it. And I mean, maybe it was a blessing in disguise because my team.
Did you go back to that same job though? Did you come back?
I didn't. And that team no longer exists at CNN. They were the whole team, that whole department was like dissolved maybe a couple of years.
What was the department
after that? So I worked in IT there. I was a computer tech there. And the team that we had just was separate from just help desk support. Usually in a lot of buildings, you have just help desk and they do everything. They had like two separate teams. I guess it was like on two different tiers of what was important and what wasn't, or a priority and what wasn't. So I was on the team that it was a priority, but it wasn't like.
For a computer tech person, she has a lot of internet issues.
A lot of glitches.
Yeah, a lot of. Huggy, what about you? Have you ever been in that situation where they said, don't go and lose that good job?
Only your grandparents. They want stability, especially to get a government job. You got to keep that job, but don't. I remember my grandmother lived in, I think she lived like in Plantation, Florida, or Winter Park, Florida. And she sent for my sister to come visit. And I just got a job. She said, no, boy. You just got that job. Don't mess up. Don't go and mess up that job, man.
Don't go mess up that good job.
Yeah. So usually that comes from the elders, when you get a good government job.
Yeah. And I never had a government job. Like, I was went to apply to be to be a substitute teacher, and I just knew that it wasn't in me, even though I come from a long line of educators. I just knew that it wasn't for me, and I was like, oh, you should go for that good job because you get benefits and you get your summers off if you want, or you can work in the summer. It's not as difficult, all of these things that they were telling me.
To beat other people's kids.
That was key.
Wow, that was back then. So the teacher's different now. These teachers, dangerous jobs now.
Yeah, it's taking your life in your hands.
They don't.
Stepping in all of the classrooms, you just never know. So,
but they don't even turn their head to write on the chalkboard now.
Can they?
That's the sad truth of it. So that's what we want to know. Have you had that job where people have told you, don't go mess up that good job, or have you had to tell someone? And I'm wondering what the difference is.
Our friend, a whole paragraph.
Michelle Lynn Summerall is in HR, and she knows whereof she speaks. She said, my mother told me that, and for the most part, I followed it. There will be good days and bad days, but unless you own the company, deal with it. 14 years with one company and almost 18 with the current. And so that is applause worthy. Yeah, because in this day and age, we don't hear of people like from our parents or our grandparents who worked 30 years for one company,
right,
or one organization, or one branch of the government, and then walk away with a pension and and not even a gold watch anymore. We don't have that kind of we don't have that kind of stability in our lives. And a younger generation like Coy's is like a part of that silent quitting and not putting up with this, especially after the pandemic. They're like, you need me more than I need this job. And so that is something else that has to be dealt with. Yeah.
And you tell that young lady that she should be a gospel singer, talking about that there was some good days. Some bad days. I told my 24-year-old nephew to mess up the good job. Not to mess up the good job.
That's right. Darletha Rhodes on YouTube was saying told her 25-year-old nephew not to mess up the good job. It went through one ear and out the other. Has thrown away 3 jobs. That says to me, you don't want to work. I give up. So what do you do? I mean, in a case like that, do you keep encouraging him, keep helping him to find a job until he finds one that he likes and that he sticks? What do you recommend, Coy, as a young person?
I would recommend to find something that you truly enjoy, that when you go to work, it is literally something that you look forward to, that keeps teaching you and helps you evolve in that field of whatever that you're doing, especially if it's like a trade or a skill. A lot of times that is a lot more interesting than just doing the same repetitive motion, the same type of repetitive work day in and day out. Find something that challenges you. That, I think, is the best way to find job security these days, because otherwise you're going to be stuck in something, like I said, that's repetitive.
But that's boring. What? That's hard for older people to accept and to try and encourage young people to do that, because for the most part, our relatives, our aunts, uncles, grandparents, they just got up and went to work. It wasn't, it wasn't about loving the job. It wasn't about being appreciated. I went there so that I could make a living, provide for my family.
So it was, okay.
CM Williams on Facebook says that's the same generation that believes a degree is the answer to everything.
Okay.
It's not. Okay. Coy, how do you address that with people who from that generation, and trying to explain to them how things change and how one's mindset has to change along with the economic times, as well as the temperature of our workforce?
I just try to let people know that the cost of living right now is really high. There's no comparison to when I was younger, or when my parents were in the workforce.
Coy, you're still younger.
I know. I mean, we've seen now, like, you can't even get a bag of groceries for $50. $50 is probably like 4 items now.
Yeah,
so,
and not a protein in the bunch.
Right. So now we are seeing that
how
you
much
have
was
to
you
work.
getting $50 worth of groceries for, Coy? Where are you shopping at?
Kroger.
That makes, I mean, even at Walmart, you can't get can't get a lot because the prices are so high. So go ahead. We interrupted you.
But there's so many, there's more avenues to make money. Like, a lot of people think that they can get on TikTok and become viral, or start YouTube channels and, amass a great following. Or OnlyFans. There's so many different ways, and not to say that people aren't making money on this, and not to discourage people's dreams, but there are folks that are literally quitting their jobs to be a full-time social media influencer, and they're doing everything that they can to secure this type of money, because to them, they think it's easier. And so I think that also has attributed to the high turnover rate that we have in the workforce amongst people my age, because they feel like there's a lot of these options. Now, some of them are successful, but a majority of them aren't, and they end up coming back to the workforce.
I wonder what is the percentage. Do you know the percentage of people who are really successful? And I don't know what level you apply the success label, but does anybody know at what level you are considered a success as a social media influencer?
I would just
bringing in so much money, or is it a number of followers, or what?
Yeah, I would think it's because now it goes off of views, it goes off of followers as well, but definitely like views, subscriptions. I think what would be a great measure of success is if this pays all of your monthly bills, like, with no problem. If you can do that, maybe have a part-time job for other expenses or things that you like to spend money on. I think you're pretty successful at that point.
Huggy, what about you? Have you had to have that discussion with anybody else? You said about your grandparents with talking to you, but have you had to have that discussion like with nieces or nephews?
No, because they already got their foot on it. They somewhere else. This younger generation they on it. They are on it. Like, I got one niece. She do hair. She work. She do lashes. She edits. She's an artist, and she sells her stuff. And then I have another niece that's she bakes and she makes money. She do a little pop-up shop. So they got that entrepreneurial, and my sister put them in like baking classes and cooking classes, and you got to invest and put money into what these kids are passionate about, so they can get to the bag.
And Coy is one of those people. Hang on one second, Coy. Randall Andrews on Facebook. Nowadays, the way companies are letting people go, sometimes you don't have to do anything to lose that job. Wow. Just think if you were working at, you went to your Bed Bath & Beyond job on Saturday and Sunday, you find out that they filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Coy, you are, we used to joke about you were the Jamaican of the group because you had 1,001 jobs. Was that something that you recognized early, that there were a lot of different things that you were good at that you wanted to do, and so you didn't have to depend upon just one job?
I realized I was good at a lot of things, and I also realized that there were things that I wanted to have provided for that I didn't want to take the time and wait on my parents to do. I didn't want them to have to come out of their pocket to provide for me. And I wanted to get to the point where I could provide for them. So that had always been my goal in the back of my head, like provide for myself and provide for my parents. And I've been able to do both. I've been able to do that for myself very well. For my parents, sometimes I was able to.
Where'd you take your mama for a birthday dinner?
Oh, she wanted to go to a restaurant called Rock and Crab.
Okay.
That's one of the crab boil places, right?
And so with the bags and all of that,
Yes.
Ooh, it's making me hungry.
She had a blast.
Oh, nice. I was thinking when they were talking about all these jobs, and Huggy, you were talking about your nieces. I was trying to remember. I think it was at Morgan State, and we were doing a campus tour, and all of the signs with the strips of paper, with a number or an email address or whatever, a website. for different things, and like you said, for hair and lashes and t-shirts and baked goods and and computer repair, Coy, and all kinds of things that people were doing. And they, the school allows them to have all their advertising up because that's, first of all, that's the way a lot of them make their money in school, and the way that a lot of them pay their way through school. It's just that simple. So thank you for going in with me on this discussion. I think it's really interesting, and I really do, from the bottom of my heart, I hope that Don, he's good enough. He is better than most at what he does. I hope that he gets to a place where he is comfortable and he feels the camaraderie that he had at CNN, like he used to have with Chris Cuomo, or a place where he feels comfortable and can have a great show and entertain and inform people the way that he has for so many years, the way he did when I met him first in Chicago, and then, knowing him at CNN.
And it's hard for us as a person of color and being a journalist and to find another job.
Yeah.
Just like sure. Tiffany, just like with Tiffany, right? Just like with Roland. Roland had to start his own.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah. And so did we. I mean,
right.
We got fired, and so we had to take this and kind of move on our own. But it is the truth that you just have to
look at the machine you built.
Yeah. Right. So thanks for joining us in this discussion. Let's move to trending topics. These are things that have happened today, and as I mentioned, the whole Don Lemon and Tucker Carlson questions. Tucker Carlson and Fox News have mutually agreed to separate. Friday was his last show, and apparently it has. And once again, like I said, there's something in the water with these guys. It has to do with a sexual harassment lawsuit that was filed by his former producer, and now on top of Fox having to pay almost $1 billion out and have all these other lawsuits that others have filed against people at that network. I guess they said, you know what, you're on your own. We can't do what we're doing and with Mr. Pillow and the digital voting machines and all of this kind of stuff, and deal with sexual harassment. And so they mutually agreed to separate. And this is really interesting. Where will he go from there? Where will he will he be the voice of CNN and with an evening show? Because his numbers are good. I don't see him making that switch and being the lone voice at MSNBC. But CNN was moving towards a more conservative, or at least more middle of the road. And who's going to pay him the kind of money that he was being paid? That's the same thing with Don, because Don was making a really great living. And if he goes to News Nation and follows his friend Chris Cuomo, Chris took a real big cut in his salary. And so that was also expected to happen with Don and I suspect with Tucker Carlson as well. And maybe, he'll go out and do some hawking of products and things like that. But it's going to be really interesting to see. So that was another thing that happened today. So it was Tucker Carlson, then Don. And also yesterday, it was announced that the head of NBC Universal was stepping down.
Wow.
And it's got to be something in the water. It really is. These TV bosses. The one at NBC admitted to a relationship with a woman, not his wife. Jeff Shell was ousted after CNBC international anchor Hadley Gamble formally accused the CEO of sexual harassment. A lawyer for Gamble confirmed it in a statement today, and Jeff Shell is just the latest media industry exec to leave their post amid scandal. Among them, Universal Vice Chairman Ron Meyer, who resigned after revealing that he was being threatened with extortion by a former girlfriend. Last year, CNN President Jeff Zucker, who put all of that together with Don Lemon and Chris Cuomo and all the others, suddenly quit after admitting a relationship with another executive at that news network. And that came to light during a probe of Chris Cuomo and what was going on with him and his brother. And it's
getting messy on TV.
it's not getting. It is the exposure to things that are going on for so long, and I don't know. I don't understand that, but
it might be a new market for Netflix.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. It's like a reality TV show. Yeah,
yeah,
for sure. This is Kim Potter, the former Minnesota police officer who was convicted of accidentally killing 20-year-old Dante Wright after mistaking her firearm for her stun gun, was freed from prison at 4:00 this morning in the shooting death of the African-American driver Dante Wright after serving 16 months of a 2-year sentence. Well, first of all, 16 months, I don't know that I could do it, but it didn't seem like enough time that she was having to serve 2 years. The sentence was ridiculous. And that was given to her by a judge who had a soft heart for this policewoman. And whereas the designated time or the suggested time is like 3 to 8 years, and this was far below that. And so she will be under supervised release until December 21st. So another 8 months. And that doesn't seem fair because now a baby will grow up without his father. The parents will grow old without their son. And in another situation of a Black man in a mistaken killing by this policewoman. Mentioned Bed Bath & Beyond a little bit ago. Are you a Bed Bath & Beyond fan?
Not really.
No. Okay. They won permission today to tap $40 million, money they said it needs to cover payroll for its roughly 14,000 employees and buy some time for management to try and locate a buyer for the company that filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy to rescue all of some of their stores. Now, this is really interesting. So they're going to try to find a buyer. They're going to try to keep their people working. But in the meantime, what about those sales they said are going to start on Wednesday? And for those of us that have our 20% postcards and all of that we get in the mail, are we going to be able to use those? What's the deal? We need to know.
Bed Bath & Beyond shoppers are really in tune with the deals that they offer. I have friends always say, you need to go to Bed Bath & Beyond today. They got 5 for 5, this and that. I'm like, how do you know this stuff on a regular basis?
Yeah. I mean, and that's the art of the deal. You know, they used to talk about that. The art of knowing a good deal and getting a good deal is often a part of that generation of people who are Bed Bath. I got a great set of dishes years ago that I still have. In my latest move, and they, lasted me very well. And just ate salmon off of them the other night. But it's just when the whole news about this, I was thinking about all of the deals that I got at Bed Bath & Beyond. So and it's not just that store. It's Bye Bye Baby. That is the store for baby things. For it's usually you get a gift certificate to someone who is having a baby shower. Bye Bye Baby, Bye Bye Baby, and Bed Bath & Beyond. Those stores are connected, and they are affected by this shutdown as well.
Now, I used to shop at Bed Bath & Beyond, more so like around my college days and when I got my first apartment. So maybe this is something I need to go look into. They might have a sale that I like now.
They might have a really good sale.
They always have a sale.
Yeah. Are you a Bed Bath & Beyond person, Hug?
I used to hate going in there, but I used to go in there.
You go drug in there.
Go in there, and you end up buying stuff. You're like, wow.
And it's like the grocery store. It's not the candy for the kids, but they got all these little gadgets that are all there all along your way. Yeah.
Maybe Walmart should buy it.
Before you leave out there with monogram toenail clippers and portable avocado pillars and a neck pillow that connects to your belt.
Right. Earplugs, for the deaf, all kinds of stuff like that. It's bananas. But I do wish the people, especially those people who are working for Bed Bath & Beyond and Bye Bye Baby, I hope that they can keep their jobs for as long as possible until they find a suitable buyer. And admittedly, they said they missed the internet entryway. So where they should have been amping up their internet sales, they maintained that they were going to stay in the big box stores, and they didn't take advantage of perhaps doing both.
Yeah.
And so now they're paying the price for it.
I saw where God tweeted something about after the pillow guy, Mike Lindell, took his pillows out of Bed Bath and Beyond. Now they bankrupt. Something about woke.
Oh, please. He's got to pay $5 million to a guy who proved that his proved Mike Lindell challenge is wrong. And he did. And he wouldn't pay up. So he needs to go.
And he needs to watch out for Dominion because they're coming for him.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Sources are reporting that the Houston Rockets will hire, is it Ime Udoka?
I heard that, Sybil.
To be the new head coach of the Rockets. He led.
Oh, goodness.
Sybil, he leaving Boston going to Houston? Oh,
goodness. That's what I said. Oh, goodness.
My God.
No hope.
And there will be no fiancés.
No fiancé in Houston? Houston?
He led the
I'm going to pray for you, brother.
He's going to get a lot of company. He led the Celtics to the 2022 NBA Finals in his only season as head coach, later dismissed after inappropriate workplace relationship. That's a theme today. And so he is going to head down from Boston to or wherever he is and to go and be the new head coach for the Houston Rockets. That's going to be interesting.
From worse to worser.
Well, he's a good coach, if nothing else, right?
He's a good coach.
He is a good coach, and so they were willing to investigate and do their due diligence, and I guess
he used to date Neil Long.
Yeah, and then there was that.
Oh my goodness.
Which holds him in high esteem for a lot of people. Huggy, what about the NFL suspending these 5 players for violating gambling the other day? This happened on Friday, and 4 of them on the same team. They were all on the Detroit Lions team, right?
Young, man. You can't certain stuff you can't do. So you just can't do.
But how do you have this relationship with gambling sites like DraftKings and all of these other guys?
Sybil, you know how many younger people gamble?
Yeah.
Like that's part of the culture now. A whole lot of people. Like
it's not just dice. It's not just, this is real.
They betting on horses and baseball,
high school games,
rugby. They've been everything.
They don't even know rugby, right? And
cricket.
Yeah.
Pickleball.
I heard there was a bet on the fight over this weekend with Gervonta Davis. How many rounds was he going to win?
Right.
That was one of the
Drake bet $1 million, I heard.
And he lost like $1 million week before last on something.
Well, he got it back if he bet with Tank. Did you see the fight?
No. Was it good?
Yes, it was very good.
Yeah.
Our producer Med went to Vegas this weekend, and before they could finish at the Usher concert, the fight was already over. He was hoping to go from one to the other. Yeah.
Oh no, they wouldn't do it. You can't do that.
Not in Vegas, probably not.
They'll try to put it in Usher and then the fight afterwards. Like that ain't gonna go your way.
Well, he thought that he didn't think. First of all, he didn't think Usher's show was gonna last 2.5, 3 hours.
You never know.
Anyway,
he's trying to have an extravaganza.
Right. So the NFL suspended 4 Detroit Lions players and 1 from the Washington Commanders.
Oh, I didn't hear that, Sybil. That must just mean why we always got to have that. Did we sell a team yet, Sybil? Have they?
Apparently, they're not going with the brother. The $7 billion deal with the brother, it has too many strings attached.
I heard about that.
Too many questions about that. Yeah, so it doesn't look like that is going to happen. But it is good news for Chicago Bears fans. Aaron Rodgers is leaving the North. He's going to play for the Jets, the New York Jets. He's going to follow along behind Brett Favre and the former Green Bay Packer. A quarterback who went and played for the Jets and got in all kinds of trouble, including male picks and what have you. So he is, this is what, it was several weeks or months that they went about, and they got a number of deals regarding their draft rounds and what numbers they'll get in this year as well as next year, conditional payments next year. And it also negotiations include the 15th overall pick in the 2023 NFL draft, 2023 fifth round pick, that's number 170, in exchange for the 13th pick in the 2023 draft and a second round pick in 2023 and a sixth round and a conditional second round pick that will become a first if Roger plays who did the math on this?
Right.
If he plays 65% of the plays this season. It's all contingent upon how much he plays this season as the new quarterback for the New York Jets. We're just glad to get rid of him because
a very problematic contract he has. That's based on his history.
And they had to go to a quiet place and negotiate while he was going from commune to commune and doing all this other kind of stuff. It was a lot of stuff out of Huggy, before we go, what is wrong with Dylan Brooks? What is this dude's problem?
Philin Brooks?
Dylan Brooks.
Oh, I call him Philin Brooks. Yeah, oh, man. I don't know.
This is the kid from the Memphis Grizzlies.
Memphis Glizzies.
The Glizzies, right. He's calling LeBron old and then took him out in his man parts at the game the other night. What is his problem?
I don't know, Sybil. Something wrong with him.
Something wrong with the boy. It's beyond being a good defender. He's a jerk. As far
that was just uncalled for. That was so blatant.
And that was it. He was thrown out the game, but they're not doing anything else to him. All right. This is with the Los Angeles Lakers and the Memphis Grizzlies, as Huggy calls them. So
that's what Dylan Brooks think he played for.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Let's move to entertainment. CNN has announced, speaking of our friend Don and CNN has announced King Charles. Have y'all seen this? Gayle King and Charles Barkley, they have a show. Now they're going to host a weekly CNN series called King, Gayle King, and Charles.
I heard about that.
Gayle King.
We're going to have to listen to one part of that show, and the rest of the show is going to be in subtitles. I can barely listen to a Subway commercials. Are you kidding me? Even Steph Curry said, "What did he say?"
Right. That's funny. That's very funny. That's true. Gayle King has vowed to host a show that offers good conversation without tearing other people down. I look forward to that. He said of the program, "We don't want to say we're liberal, conservative, Republican, or whatever." He says he wants to play it all right down the middle of the road. It's one of the things that's already ruined television in general. The 1 hour program confirmed over the weekend, CEO Chris Lick, who fired Don, called the announcement thrilling in a memo when noting that King Charles would launch this fall. Gayle's keeping her good job at CBS. Charles is keeping his good job with the basketball mega behemoth that they have created there, and good for them. Good for them. And 1 hour a week, and I'm not sure if she's getting as much as they were saying, but that was a really nice check if she is getting, because they were talking like over $10 million for this 1 hour a week program. I heard
Lindsey Graham and Mike Pence also have a show.
Oh, is that right?
It's called Queen Pen.
I like it. All right, let's close out with today's jewel, and I've had to call on the jewel today. One of the best lessons to learn in life is to remain calm in difficult situations. Master it. Remain calm. So I appreciate you guys for joining us. Huggy, it's good to see you. I hope that you will come back and visit us again.
I'm committing this week, Sybil. I'm on my new commitment thing. I know I'm off and on. Hey, I got a show this Saturday at Holiday Inn in College Park, Maryland. Huggy Lowdown and Friends, Comic Cop, Timmy Hall, and on Mother's Day I'm at the Blue Dolphin, and that's in Maryland. Hold on, Sybil. Sorry, what time do we got? How many we have? 54?
Go ahead. Because I didn't do it at the time. I think you had dropped out. And
okay, I got a Mother's Day comedy jam. That's at the Blue Dolphin Seafood Bar and Grill. All my career is the Mother's Day comedy jam. Mike Brooks, Sean Miller. We have 2 shows, y'all.
And we'll see you on the cruise.
And on the cruise. So, am I going? I guess I am, Sybil.
I thought you. Okay, well, maybe we need to talk.
Sybil done put it out there now. I got to make a phone call. Like,
send me his ticket. Send me his ticket. Send me his ticket.
All right, you guys. Have a great day. And thank you so much.
Thanks. Thank y'all.
Don't mess up